Welcome to the pilot of You Couldn't Make It Up from CKDS Radio. This show is designed as a bit of a game. In each episode I'll tell you a story. Some will be entirely true, others will be pure fabrication generated by an AI, and others will be true stories but with embellishment. I won't tell you which is which, not in the episode itself. Your task is to work it out. You can rely on your own common sense or you can research it, but with a catch: don't use Google, don't use ChatGPT, and don't use your usual search engines. Avoid anything that might already know you and your biases. Instead, try alternatives like Bing, DuckDuckGo, or Snipe Search. On some platforms, you'll be able to comment your guess. If you're feeling confident, throw your answer. The real answer will be revealed in the next episode, or it'll be displayed on CKDSRadio.eu 8 to 12 weeks after this has been released. I'd love to expand this project, so if you're a creative person and you'd like to make reenactments to bring the stories to life, please put a link to your reenactments in the comments below. Many of you are probably listening to this live on CKDS Radio or via streaming services. I'd like to thank you for tuning in. The point of this show is to explore how susceptible we might be to manipulation, especially by media and social media. It's not about politics, not left or right. I believe manipulation happens across the line for all of us. So what do you win if you guess correctly? Right now the answer is bragging rights, that's it. And if you're wrong, you might learn something about how to spot misdirects. In our first story, a 27-year-old Chinese student had to be rescued from Mount Fuji twice in just 4 days. The man, a university student living in Japan, climbed Japan's tallest mountain during the off-season. The first time, he got altitude sickness and lost his crampons. Rescue teams had to airlift him to safety. 4 days later, he went back, not to climb for fun, not for the glory. He went back to find his phone and had to be rescued again. Is this story too ridiculous to be true? Listen to the story and you decide. He chose the Fuji Trail. It's one of the more direct routes to the summit. Though it's the shortest of the main trails, it's also steep and often icy, especially outside of the official climbing season. April, by all accounts, is well outside of that window. The climbing season typically starts in July and it ends in early September. During these months, the mountain is staffed, trails are maintained, and first aid stations are open. But in April, the mountain is essentially closed. And it's dangerous. There are no safety patrols, there's no medics, there are no open logics, just raw, high altitude terrain and unpredictable weather. Yet the student pressed on. He reached roughly 3,000 meters, which is 9,800 feet, before the trouble began. First he lost his crampons. These are essential gear for off-season climbing. Sharp spiked attachments that go over your boots to grip the ice. Without them, climbing or descending icy slopes becomes nearly impossible. As if that weren't enough, he began to suffer from altitude sickness. Symptoms hit fast at that elevation: dizziness, nausea, fatigue. He was unable to continue the climb and essentially unable to get down. Thankfully, he had cell reception. He called emergency services, a rescue team was dispatched, and a helicopter airlifted him off the mountain. For most people, that's where the story would end: a harrowing ordeal, narrowly avoided disaster, and a life lesson learned. But not for this student. 4 days later, on April the 26th, he went back. This time, not for adventure, not for exercise, not for redemption. He went back for his phone. During the chaos of the rescue, he had left behind his mobile and a few personal items. Rather than wait for officials or experienced climbers to retrieve them during safer conditions, he made the decision to return. Alone. Again. Still in April and still off-season. Once more he chose the Fuji Trail. Once more he climbed to around 3,000 meters. And once more, altitude sickness hit him hard. Only this time, there was no emergency call from him. Another climber, who remarkably was also attempting an off-season ascent, discovered him incapacitated on the trail and raised the alarm. For the second time in 4 days, a rescue team was deployed. For the second time, a helicopter airlifted the same man from nearly the same spot. And for the second time, he was hospitalized with symptoms of altitude sickness. Same trail, same symptoms, same result. Climbing Mount Fuji during the official season is already a physical and logistical challenge. But attempting it off-season like this student did introduces a whole new level of risk. From early September until early July, the mountain's facilities are shut down. There are no functioning toilets, shelters, or medical stations along the trail. Trail markers might be buried under snow or blown away by strong winds. In many areas, ice lingers well into the late spring. Rescue teams are not stationed on the mountain during this time. When someone calls for help, it takes longer for emergency services to organise a response. In this student's case, helicopters were dispatched both times. Officials and mountain safety agencies in Japan have been warning against off-season climbing for years. It's not illegal, but it is heavily discouraged. There are signs at the base of the mountain and online alerts warning of the dangers. That didn't stop this student, and unfortunately he's not alone. Every year there are incidents involving climbers ignoring guidance and underestimating the mountain's difficulty. After news of the double rescue spread, it ignited discussions on Japanese social media. Many users questioned how someone could be so reckless, to the point of needing 2 airlifts in 1 week. Others were more direct. They called for him to be fined. Make him pay for both rescues, one comment read. Taxpayers shouldn't cover the cost of someone's stupidity, wrote another. At present, there are no penalties in Japan for being rescued from Mount Fuji, no matter how many times it happens. This policy, however, is under scrutiny. In recent years, some local governments and climbing associations have discussed introducing fines on mandatory insurance for off-season climbers. During the official climbing season, over 200,000 people attempt to summit Mount Fuji. Entry fees are collected, capped numbers are enforced, and rescue infrastructure is in place. These measures are not only for crowd control, they're designed to reduce risk. Off-season climbers bypass all of that, which increases danger and burdens rescue services. As for the student, he has not made a public statement. His identity was not released by the police following privacy laws, but he was confirmed to be in a stable condition after the second hospitalization. And that's the end of our first story. Was it true? Was it fiction? That's for you to decide. The answer won't be revealed right away. It'll come at the start of a future episode and will be posted at CKDSRadio.eu between 8 and 12 weeks after this airs, to give you time to think and guess, and maybe catch some more stories before the truth drops. If you're on a platform with comments, leave your guess, but remember, no Google, no ChatGPT. Use your head or tools that don't know you. This is You Couldn't Make It Up from CKDSRadio.eu. See you next time.